Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm going to continue from where we left. We have completed up to the stomach and alimentary canal, so today we are going to finish that canal. Okay, let's start. So it's time for our small intestine. See here, our small intestine is divided into three parts. There are three parts in our small intestine, that is the duodenum, then jejunum, and ileum. So first is duodenum. See in our abdomen there is stomach. After stomach you can see a C-shaped tube. Yeah, that is the duodenum. Actually our stomach is a J-shaped tube. After that is a tube. It's the same tube, but the thing here, okay, the starting after duodenum, that is the jejunum, and this ending part of the small intestine you can see here, that is the ileum. Okay, so the C shaped tube is duodenum, and then after that is the jejunum, and after final part is the ileum. Okay, jejunum is a long coiled tube, and I mentioned here that ileum is a highly coiled tube. Actually these are not so different, they are both same only. Yeah, nearly same. But why I mentioned here is these two things are exactly present in NCERT. They may ask a question like which part of the small intestine is long coiled or which is the highly coiled. Then you should not confuse with these two things. Okay, so you have to be very clear with this. So only I have mentioned this. You have to keep this in your mind. Here we have the ileum. Yeah, it is a part of small intestine, and another ileum we have, its spelling is Elium. Okay, it is also a ileum which is in the human body, but you should not confuse these two. It is a hip bone. Okay, so you may remember it like you may pronounce it as Elium and pronounce it as Ilium, so that you do not confuse with these two things. Okay, you have to many times I did mistake in these two things, that I confused with this E and I. Then later only I realized that. Okay, so you should not do that mistake. Don't repeat that. Ileum, E is coming for this intestine, small intestine part, and I is for that ileum is a hip bone. Okay, you will see that hip bone later in the locomotion and movement chapter. Okay, later we will study that. Now let's study about our large intestine. Our large intestine also has three parts as like our small intestine, that is the cecum, colon, and rectum. First let's see about the cecum, the part after ileum. You can see here, that is the cecum. Okay, let me zoom it and draw. See here, this is the large intestine. Okay, see this bulged part, it is cecum, and the cecum contains some bacteria. It hosts some bacteria, and we are having symbiotic relationship with this bacteria because this bacteria are helping us in digestion, and so we are giving a place for it to live in our abdomen. So this is a symbiotic relationship. After cecum, see here this part, it is vermiform appendix. Okay, it is a vestigial organ now, means it is not functioning at all, but at earlier times it was functional. At earlier times man were used to be herbivores, so they used to eat raw leaves, then barks of trees and all. Okay, these things are very hard to digest. So the part which helped them to digest all these hard things is this vermiform appendix. So at that times it was so bulged, maybe it was bulged, and it was functional. But as time passes, man started to cook and eat, so that the function of the appendix is not that much required. That's why it's turned into a worm-like structure and becomes vestigial. This vermiform means it is a Latin word for worm-like, so it was called as vermiform appendix. That's it. Okay. Next we move to the colon. Our colon is here. After cecum you can see here, then here, then here, up to this is the colon, and colon have four divisions. That is the ascending colon first. This is the ascending colon. We are going from down to up. Okay. Then transverse colon, we are moving like this. Then descending colon, of course down. Then sigmoid colon is somewhat S-shaped. Okay. That's all. These are the 4 parts of colon. There's nothing in that. Then next is the last part of our alimentary canal, that is the rectum. Rectum is here. You can see that is the rectum. It is the place where we are having the temporary storage of undigested food. And after that it will pass through this anus out. And it is a opening. It is not a part of large intestine. Anus is not part of a large intestine. It is actually a opening, as like a mouth. Mouth is just a opening, as like that. This anus is also a opening. Okay, that's all. Transverse section of gut. In this, we are going to see the transverse section, that means the cross section of the alimentary canal. Okay, if our alimentary canal starts from the mouth here, then this is the esophagus. Okay, now we are going to give a cut. We are going to cut here, and we are going to see what the things are present in this tube, what are the layers are going to present in this tube. Okay, that is the transverse section of gut. While we are seeing the transverse section of the gut, we have 4 parts, that is the serosa, muscularis, submucosa and mucosa. And see here, lumen is nothing but just the empty cavity. Okay, it is an empty space which is present inside, so it is not a part. So we have only 4 parts, that is the serosa, muscularis, submucosa and mucosa. Clear? First, let's see about the serosa. Serosa, it is a thin mesothelium. Mesothelium means nothing but just epithelium. Epithelium, you know, it is just a single layer of outer covering. Okay, any outer covering, it is called as epithelium. And mesothelium is nothing but epithelium which is present outside a visceral organ. Means very important organs like we can say heart, kidneys. The organs like these are visceral organs. So the epithelium which is present in these organs are called as mesothelium. After that is muscularis. Muscularis contains smooth muscles. Smooth muscles are the muscles which are not under our control. It is under the control of our CNS, means the central nervous system. So we are not moving the food inside our esophagus, we are just swallowing it, but all the process inside are done and all the food are moving down through a process done by this smooth muscles. Okay, so that muscles are named as muscularis. So for doing this process we need 2 types of smooth muscles in muscularis, that is the longitudinal and circular. You can see in the diagram that this one is the longitudinal, yeah, this one is the longitudinal and this one is the circular. Let me explain it. If this is the circular, okay, circular muscles, this is the muscularis part having the circular muscles arranged like this. Okay, after that they are having the longitudinal in the outer side. Okay, longitudinal means which are arranged in the longitudinal direction. These muscle fibers are arranged like this. Okay, so first see here, this is the circular muscle and this is the longitudinal muscle. Okay, can you imagine this? Okay, this is arranged in the circular section. Okay, so it is a circular muscle and these are arranged only in longitudinal direction, so these are longitudinal muscles. Now see in this diagram, this inner part is the circular thing. Okay, it is arranged in a circular part. Okay, that is shown in the dotted lines. And after that see this longitudinal, it is arranged in the longitudinal. It is every rounds are having the tubes. Okay, it does not means that these are circular or round shapes are there so that it is the circular muscle. No, first thing you have to remember, you are going to see this in cross section. Okay, so the thing you are seeing here is circular in cross section. Okay, this is the circular muscles. After that, and then the things which you are seeing here are longitudinal muscles. Okay, these are longitudinal muscle fibers which are arranged like this, but in cross section they are seen to be circular. So don't confuse that. You can remember this with a hint also. Okay, I have a hint, that is O lol I C. That's all. O lol I C means here O L O L lol IC. Okay, outer is longitudinal, inner is circular. Okay, you can remember it like that also. Then let's move to the next part, that is the submucosa. Submucosa is nothing but the loose connective tissue, which is a connective tissue which is going to connect all the muscles, outer muscles, okay, to this inner part. Okay, so it is this part is the loose connective tissue, and that is named as submucosa. So this is mucosa, which has goblet cells which produces mucus, and that mucus is present in the whole alimentary canal, protecting our stomach, all the layers of the alimentary canal, all the serosa muscularis, all these layers from the acid. Okay, especially in the stomach we have acid for digestion, so we have to protect that stomach layers from acid. So for that this mucosa is helping, especially that goblet cells which are producing this mucus. Now let's read some facts. These are very important facts, which some of them may be present in your NCRT and some may not, but you have to keep all these things in your mind. First, see all the four layers in the transverse section of gut. What are them? That is the serosa muscularis, submucosa and mucosa. All these layers are not as such. They show modifications in different parts of the alimentary canal. They are not as such. They are going to modify according to the place where they are present. Okay. Next is the oblique muscles. It is a extra layer of muscle other than the four layers. In the stomach we have an extra layer which helps in digestion. Okay, so it is an extra layer, and those muscles are called as oblique muscles, which are present in our NCRT. Other than these four layers we have the extra layer in our stomach. Next next point is mucosa layer forms regular folds called rugae in stomach. In stomach, maybe if you are a non-vegetarian, you may see the stomach of a goat, maybe, if possible. If we cut a piece of stomach and see, you can see some folds in the stomach, and it is rugae. These folds just increase the efficiency of digestion. Okay, it is a mucosal layer modification. Okay, now let's see the fourth point. Gastric glands. Gastric glands are present only in the mucosal layer. Mucosa, it is the innermost layer of the transverse section of gut. In that part only we have gastric glands. Next part is duodenum. Duodenum is the starting part of the small intestine. It's a C-shaped part. In that we have glands in the submucosa. Most of the time, always the glands are present in the mucosal layer only. Okay, gastric glands are present in the mucosal layer, but this is an exception. Okay, this is an exception because glands are present in the submucosal layer, and the name of those glands is the Brunner's gland. Okay, we already saw that these layers, serosa muscularis, submucosa and mucosa, are going to get modified according to the place where they are. This is one case like that. See, you can see the mucosal layer, which is the innermost layer. That layer in small intestine going to get modified into finger-like foldings, and those foldings are called as villi. Okay. Now see this diagram. It is a section of the small intestine showing that innermost layer mucosa, which is modified to have villi. This one you can see. These are known as villi. Now you may ask the reason behind these modifications. Why these villi or microvilli have to be get formed from this mucosa? The reason behind this is, assume this to be the mucosal layer. So it is not having any villi, it is a simple mucosal layer, and this one be the modified mucosal layer. Now once the food is digested from the stomach, they come to the small intestine where all the nutrients has to be absorbed, so that those nutrients can be transported by the blood to the place where they have where they are required. So the food came here, food particles are here. and in this also the food particles are here. Now say one thing, out of these two, which one has more surface area, means which one has the ability to absorb more nutrients at the same time? This one. Why we are saying this is, in this there is only a single place, and not all these foods are not getting, all these food particles which are above are not going to get absorbed until they come here. Yes, but in this case we have more surface area, so that more nutrients can be absorbed at a time, right? Can you get that? That's why our mucosal layer of the small intestine get modified to have this villi structure, just to increase the surface area of absorption. See in the diagram, already we said that all the nutrients which are going to get absorbed in this villi are transported through the blood, so that we are having this vein, arteries, capillaries, all the blood supplies. Okay. After that, we are also having one large lymph vessel, and that lymph vessel is called as lacteal. It is called lacteal duct. Here is this. Now, if this is a villi, over this villi, we are going to have some very minute enfoldings like this. Very minute. This one is the villi, and this minute enfoldings is called as microvilli. Understand? So due to this microvilli, this whole villi is going to have a brush bordered appearance. Yeah, it is like this. Clear? Now you should be clear with the terms villi and microvilli. And this brush bordered appearance of this villi is due to microvilli. Clear? Next is, between these villi at the base we are having one enfolding, and that enfoldings are called as crypts. It is crypts of Lieberkühn. So this is also a modification of mucosa only. Yes. So the small intestine mucosal layer is going to modify and forming villi and microvilli and this crypts of Lieberkühn. Then one important thing, this crypts of Lieberkühn has a cells called Paneth cells. These Paneth cells have the ability to secrete an enzyme called as lysozyme. It is an enzyme which can kill bacteria. So it is an antibacterial enzyme. So note this, it is a very important thing, because it was asked, I think it was asked in NEET. Paneth cells which are present in the crypts of Lieberkühn has the ability to secrete lysozyme, which is antibacterial enzyme which can kill the bacteria which are coming along with the food particles. Clear? That's all. If you really liked the video, give me a thumbs up, share with your friends, and if you have any questions, ask me in the comment section. Also, please consider subscribing to my channel. Thank you.